Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new video. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, I don't really feel like making a video right now, but I don't feel like doing a lot of things lately, so uh, yeah, still gotta do them anyways. So let's kind of get started, right? So the purpose of this video is just to kind of review King and Diane, now that I've played with them a little bit more. Just kind of give my general thoughts and kind of like feelings regarding the unit and the team that supports that unit. Now, I will say that right off the bat, if you just kind of want to skip through or like, not hear my whole spiel, they're very good. They're very, very good. I can't say whether or not I like them just because like I'm going through some difficult times right now, so it's very hard for me to be very objective on whether or not I'm like really into something or if I'm just feeling flat at the moment. But objectively, I can say, just analyzing the characters and analyzing the team that's behind them, they're very, very good. Right now, one of the things that I've noticed is that they have changed the meta, at least in where I'm at right now. So if you look at this over here, this is Brawl. Yeah, it's pretty fun, but what we really generally talk about, like when we talk about the meta, is for PvP. It would be Champion 5, Champion 4, stuff like that. Because below Champion 5, generally speaking, it's a bit of a free-for-all. If you have a strong enough team, you're going to win most battles just because they're usually bots, and it's not necessarily the most difficult hurdle to kind of get to. That's why I like staying under Champion 5 sometimes, or staying at Champion 5, because I'm more than likely going to win some battles that I didn't really expect to win. Now, that being said, if you noticed, I was at Champion 4 right now, and the reason for that is because of the King team that I'm currently running. Now, I can definitely say that it's changed up the meta really nicely, because before, a couple of months ago, it was just the Goddess team, right? With Meliodas, Liz, and then you had Mel, along with, I believe it was either Ludocio or what's his face? That one kid, Sariel, in the one where he taunts and then reflect attacks. But now, and this froze. God damn it! Let's close this. And there we go. But now you have the unknown team, right? Which is consisting of uh, Hale, right? Along with, I would argue, the Limit Broken, or yeah, the LR. I'll show which one her name is a little hard to pronounce. And so you had the unknown team that was kind of a zombie team because Hale kept the one of your teammates alive no matter what happened. And I actually ran that team for quite a bit. But yeah, so Princess Behailed, along with Rest of Repose Hale and God of War Tier for your youth. They were a really good team to run because, well, the God of War gave you buffs. Hale gave you the buff for staying alive, and then what do you call that? Berhundir was there for the damage, right? Now, that being said, I see now that some of the meta is kind of shifting towards King and Diane, especially with the way that they play. At first, I didn't actually think it was that beneficial to even use their this one, their special first turn, because I was under the impression that it didn't necessarily do anything. But then I ended up realizing it's actually what causes the actual Petrify to be used, because you end up using one of the tokens that you gain from. Yeah, see? So we're gonna get rid of that. So you see that right there with the petrify, we got rid of the buff, and since the buff is gone, well, right now I just ran an evasion food, so she didn't really do anything, and she's near death too, and I mean, it's not really looking good for this enemy team, right? But let's go ahead and do this, and then we're going to do one more petrify, and then there we go. This should be game. But yeah, like now that petrify is back in the meta, because of the actual what is that thing called? Okay, it died. Okay. Now that Petrify is back in the meta because of the actual team, because of King and Diane, there's uses for it. Like, there was even somebody who commented on my last video, was like, hey, like, you kind of choked here because you could have used the double Petrify and probably have won the match. And then, like, later on, as I was rewatching the video, I was like, oh, shit, like, this person is right. And shout out to you for commenting. I really appreciate that. It always brings up my mood, and it always encourages me, you know? Like I said, flatness is an issue for me at times, and things like that get me out of that flatness. Not to put pressure on like people who may stumble upon this video to be like, oh shit, if he doesn't get good comments or positive reinforcement, like he's gonna kill himself. Like no, it ain't that deep. But what I am trying to say is that I do appreciate it when, you know, somebody mentions like, hey, like, good job and stuff like that, because again, it's encouraging. Now, moving on to kind of King and Diane, like really them as a unit, right? So they have a lot of things going for them, and one of the biggest things I would say is just how much damage they can tank, right? The amount of synergy that they have with the team that's available to them, especially if you have the collab that was recently released, it's a stupid amount of synergy, right? Because the collab team really was just missing one unit, right? And I even remember calling this out when that was kind of happening, and I'm like, oh, I feel like this is really going to be, actually let me take care of Meliodas and Liz really quickly, because I don't feel like they're gonna. Okay, good. But yeah, no, like as I was saying, when that collab came out and I was looking through the units and I had managed to get all of them, and I was like just really kind of considering like how this team was going, I was like, well, it's a fairy team, you know, like, yeah, the shadow may have like some usability or some utility for the human team, but it was predominantly a fairy team because of the other two characters. And in the back end, you actually have I'm gonna finish him off in style because he deserves a gold. Need to really, you know, end it. That was 1.2 mil. That was sexy. Sorry, but yeah, like that entire team had such great synergy. It had healing. It had survivability because of one of the passes, which stopped them from like taking over 50% of the damage in, you know, one turn. There was the substantial like stat increases and buffs that they each gave each other. Like, I think if I look at my stats right now, we're rocking like a good 500k. We're rocking a good 500k CC, or not CC, 500k HP. And the reason for that is just because, again, like, look at this, like the synergy, 526k versus theirs is 425k, 388k, 310k. So they are very, 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 very beefed up because of their the synergy that they have going for them. Now that doesn't mean that actually we're gonna do that, and then we're going to do that. I'm dumb. I panicked because I saw that the time was running out, and I ended up choosing wrong. I should have stuck with that single target. It's okay, whatever. It didn't even actually trigger. Okay, because I was hoping it would trigger the petrify, but it didn't even trigger the petrify. So there's no need to beat myself up over this. But yeah, like there's there's so much synergy in that team, and then you have King and Diane coming along, right? Now, at first I was a little disappointed because I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, well, it's just a tank unit, right? And with some utility, it has a healing from the passive or that buff that they give themselves midway through. This one over here. Oh, okay. The talent gives them a buff or healing. But as I was kind of like, developing more and more of how the strategy was supposed to go, like I ended up realizing, I'm like, oh, like there's actual, hang on, let me do that. Okay. There's actual damage being dealt, because of the actual, oof, nice, because of the amount of, nice, okay. There's just a lot of damage being dealt. The talent makes up for that. The passive really encourages it, um, and it's not weird for me to hit with King and Diane like 300k or 1 mil on a bronze, and so it's just one of those things where it's like I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't give the unit that fair of a shot. Okay, we're actually going to do that because hopefully they'll die, and then we're going to do that. Actually, no, we're going to ensure they can't heal. We're going to do that, and then we're going to do that, and that should end the battle. Yeah, like I said, there's so much, because I feel like with King and Diane you have to be more strategic with the way that you fight the battle. That petrified adds a whole new layer to the actual battle, where even if you go second, as long as you can tank a couple of turns, and usually you can tank a couple of turns because of the passives and the effects from some of the other characters, you're actually able to see some really fun and drawn out battles. That doesn't mean it's gonna happen every single time. There's been a couple of times where I go in Champion 4 or Champion 5 and I just get my ass kicked. But I would say that the meta has definitely changed, and now you have like three big pillars. I know that there's an argument for the human team, but I feel like the main character for the human team is a little bit, how do I put this? It is a little bit not underplayed, but the main unit for the human team is a little bit old. So for the human team, you have Escanor, you have what's his face, Bon and Elaine's kid. You have, I think you could argue Shadow if you really want to, but I feel like Percival would be a bit of a better choice. And it's just one of those things where you're like, like when you compare it to the unknown team, when you compare it to the fairy team, when you compare it to the goddess team, like you kind of just end up realizing like, that's not that amazing, like it's good, I'm not dissing it and I'm not shitting on it, but amazing, super wonderful, great, not really. Let me take her out with, because she needs to go. She does too much damage in this situation. No, I should have waited. I used it at the wrong time. Yeah, I should have done the other way around. It should have gone him. Shadow should have gone first, and then she should have gone. And like that's another thing with the fairy team. Like you have to consider so many like little possibilities now, because if you just kind of just go in blind, what ends up happening is, well, you end up messing up turns. Like she can deal a stupid amount of damage. The girl, the elf, but she needs to be built up towards it. Like she just won't come out and like smack. Like you're going to have to put an effort into actually making sure that she can deal the damage, and fuck, yeah, it's over. There's nothing I can do. Like you fucking KO'd my team, and this is like one of those perfect examples where like what I mean by Champion 4 or Champion 5 like being so frustrating at times, because you run into people who are so much higher CC. My account is pretty built up. Like it's not a new account by any means or shape, way, or form, but because of the amount of people who are just been playing longer than I have, like I run into these difficulties where it's like, fuck, like if I had actually been able to do something better, then it would have been much nicer, essentially. Let's see, we're going to go one. No, we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. That should be good. Nice. Okay, good. And see, even with this, like if you look at the amount of damage that King and Diane dealt to the enemy King and Diane, like that was 100k on a bronze and ungeared. Like the amount of damage being dealt is crazy, and the amount of stats that are being provided by the team is really insane. Because if you see like how, and this is a bait team. If you look at it, it's more because they have Dreyfus. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to win this, but we're going to have to try. Nice. Okay. So we are going to we're going to go Lizia. Okay. I think I should be able to kill her. 2 and 3. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna die. Okay, good. I was worried that she wasn't. I'm gonna pause the video here real quick.